Okay. Okay, we are broadcasting, recording, we're going, we're good. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, it is 5:30. I will gavel us in. Our meeting, welcome. I see that we have all commissioners present. We have a quorum. Starting with our first item of business will be the review of the previous minutes, the minutes from our previous meeting. Well, sorry, I skipped the pledge. Our first item of business will be the pledge. And let's get back here so I can see you all. Commissioner Price, since you have dutifully provided a flag for us, would you lead us in that pledge today?
Of course. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go further into the meeting, got a question. Brian, where are you? Where's your location right now? Where are you? Are you in your office?
No, I am not. I am at home attending the meeting virtually, as was stated in the email where we sent out the documents.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm here at the location of the meeting, which was in the public notice. You did not respond to my email when I informed you that I was going to be here in person.
Well, just so you know, we do have an area set up for you. You just need to use your wellness center card, walk through the back hallway, through the wellness center, and there's a table set up in our training area in the back for you.
Okay. Is there a reason why you did not inform me of this?
You were informed.
Not.
Both myself and Eddie informed you that there would be no staff present in the building.
Uh-huh. This is the location of the meeting. No, is there a reason, if there is a place for me to be in the building, why did no one tell me that?
We are telling you that.
Well, you're telling me that right now. Previously, Jody did tell me he had a laptop for me, but he said I was not informed that there would be a spot in the building for me. Why didn't you tell me that earlier, Brian?
That must have been an oversight. My apologies.
Uh-huh. Now, just so everyone is clear, the duties for setting meetings fall squarely on the chair of the commission. This meeting, although the public may attend virtually, and the commissioners absolutely can attend where they are. Our meeting notice specifies the location of the meeting. And Mr. Poe, I informed you I was going to be here and expected you to also be present.
Well, Madam Chair, I am sorry that your reading comprehension is not all that great. However, you were informed.
Mr. Poe, negative. I did receive your email, and I informed you that that I was going to be here in person, and then you stopped corresponding with me. That's not okay.
So,
That
Madam Chair,
behavior is not Mr. Poe. No, Mr. Poe, we're done. I'm not recognizing you to speak right now. I'm letting you know that
You're talking
behavior is not okay.
love to do that.
Mr. Poe, I'm not recognizing you to speak at this time. We will commence with our agenda.
Thank you. We do need to do the people's business.
Mr. Poe, I have not recognized you to speak at this moment. I'll let you know when we need you. So the first item of business would be the approval of our previous meeting minutes. Commissioners, do we have any discussion, deletions, insertions?
Can you give me just a minute to look at it?
Sure.
Thanks.
You have whatever time you need.
Thanks. I haven't had a chance.
No, Mr.
Yeah, I do have a question.
Okay.
Do we, is Jody here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Do we need to, I know the video was taken down and I guess it was put back up, correct?
Yes, ma'am. The first part of the video was edited. We just stopped. I just cut it off at the objectionable, when the objectionable material started. And then we also have the full feed from part 2, which contains a recap of what had happened, and then continues the count from there. So there should be parts 1 and 2 that have the full ballot draw video.
Okay. And thank you for doing that. But I do think we need to reflect that in the minutes, because the fact that, because everything's public information, but we're not reflecting that we had to basically take or delete part of a video out. Should that be reflected in the minutes?
Just also just for complete clarity, we have the complete raw video of all the feed, both on our YouTube cloud storage, and we downloaded it as well for use for anything that we need to refer to any authorities. But yes, we do have the complete unedited video in our possession as well.
So I guess the question is I guess it's probably a question maybe for the county attorney, but do we need to include that information in the meeting minutes?
Yes, we do.
So I'm sorry, Betty. I meant to get back and look at this again, but it's been a crazy, crazy week. I know it has for y'all. But I feel like we probably need to add that information that Jody just spoke of, and the fact that we have archived it and it's in the cloud. It's not being, destroyed or anything. So if anyone needed to come back and verify anything, it is there. But I feel like we need to kind of add that statement back in there. And I'm fine with, making a motion to approve based on adding that statement. But just for the record.
No, I agree. I think when we say meeting recessed at 6:07 due to technical difficulties, you could put probably a couple lines in between there and say that, we had a unfortunate incident with a Zoom hacker and some questionable material was, like Jody said, was deleted from the video, but we do have the original video archived as well.
Yeah. And Jody, do you mind providing information to Betty?
Not at all. I can provide whatever you guys want.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes with basically an amendment, adding a statement from Jody on some technical issues that we had for the August 24th, 2020 meeting.
Second.
minutes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Poe, I have a question for you. Where is the laptop I'm supposed to use? And you said training room, is it the Jeffrey Hawkins room or is it the room in the back that we've done absentee counting?
Oh, I can answer that. Just
Okay,
'cause
go
I'm not
ahead,
sure if
Jody.
he knows. The laptop is actually, it's left, it's on the, I can't think what the table is, but it's the end table back there by Amanda and Bart is where it actually got left.
Okay,
With the power cable and everything.
okay. So that door's open then?
I guess I'll have to ask a question, Madam Chair. I must have
Oh.
missed some emails or something because I don't see any emails regarding what you're talking about, but is no one at the commission right now?
Oh, no, there is nobody here.
So was the media informed that they could not attend the meeting?
No, not to my knowledge.
Can I ask Director Poe
Go
why
ahead.
nobody's at the commission?
The media actually can attend the meeting because the chair is there.
Does the chair have a key to the front door?
Mm-mm. No, I have asked for a key and that request has been denied or at least not fulfilled by Mr. Poe.
And
I
as
do
I
not have access.
explained, you have to make that request to the comptroller, Mr. Hutchins.
And I have asked you to do that. Have you done that, Mr. Poe?
Yes, I have prepared a memo for you. However, you have not asked about it since.
I think we're
Mr.
getting,
Poe.
Madam Chair.
Go
I
ahead.
think we're getting off topic. I'm trying to understand why the commission is closed down for the public. Because if I understand correctly, I don't know what's going on because apparently there are some emails exchanged that Commissioner Pross and I weren't privy to. But from what I understand from that emergency declaration or whatever that was passed from legislature, the FOIA requirements that they kind of amended during COVID for if there were any kind of buildings that were closed is that the media had to have access and we could not deny that. But to have access, there had to be actual access. And as if we are not actual persons that have public access to that building, we can't provide that access. So I guess I'm trying to understand is why there is no one there to give that access. Did something happen today? Or was there something else that occurred?
The chair is there to provide access. She can provide access to the building with
How?
her key card.
I
If we get-
can't provide access to the commission office or the Jeffrey Hawkins room. That's the stated location of our meeting.
You can provide access to the building where the meeting will be occurring.
Mr. Poe, I'm trying to, I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to understand is why was there a decision made that no one was going to be in the building?
There was we sent out an email with the documents for the meeting.
Okay.
And the decision was made for two
By
reasons.
who? Who made that decision?
I made that decision for two reasons. The first reason being that we are conducting training tomorrow and I wasn't going to hold the staff at the building until the end of this meeting. The second reason is because I am trying to minimize exposure to the staff.
Okay.
To any possible, or minimize exposure as much as possible to the staff to any exposures of COVID-19.
What about you, Mr. Poe? Why couldn't you be here?
I am part of the staff now, aren't I?
So Brian, this email I received at 4 o'clock today, documents for meeting, attached with the documents for tonight's virtual meeting. Please note we are training poll workers all day tomorrow, so no staff members will be physically present in the regional building this evening. Please let me know if you have any questions. Is this the correspondence to which you were referring?
It is. And honestly, it has to do with the cavalier attitude of the chair towards the pandemic. I observed in the previous meetings when one of our staff members, Mr. Dildy, was in there working on the laptop, she did not have her face fully covered. She had her nose sticking out. And ultimately, it is my responsibility to keep all these folks as healthy as possible because we cannot conduct an election without them.
So my mask slipped down.
In addition to your cavalier attitude, yes.
My cavalier attitude.
Yes, we have been conducting virtual meetings for 5 months now, yet all of a sudden you decide that you need to be physically present. I am minimizing exposure to the staff as much as possible. Now, granted, we have to do poll worker training because that is mandatory for conducting an election. However, you have demonstrated repeatedly that you are capable of attending a virtual meeting and conducting your business. So that means your presence is not necessary.
Well, Mr. Poe, you don't make that determination. And if you recall, the last meeting that I was remote, I had problems with connectivity and had serious issues and had to keep hanging up, recalling, and was having problems.
Yes, and you should be capable of correcting that on your end.
Well, thank you for that assessment. We're going to move on. Commissioners, is there any other discussion that the commissioners have?
My question is pertaining if we contact media to let them know the change.
Okay, and in the future, whenever we put out the notice, we will put out the regional building as the meeting location, rather than specifying the Jeffrey Hawkins room. At that point, the chair will be able to provide them access to the area where the meeting will be occurring. My apologies for that error.
But again,
You don't attend the meetings that
I
are
have-
here in the building, Mr.
I
Poe.
please let me finish.
Go ahead, Commissioner Starr, go
I
ahead.
still, thank you. I still don't think, I mean, honestly, I don't ever bring that little key card with me because I don't have a key to the actual room that opens the back door. So I don't see that as entry into the building. That key, that fob that opens the back door, because every county employee has one of those. So I have to disagree with Brian on this. Brian, I don't think that's considered access to the actual room that goes into the Jeffrey Hawkins building. That would be the front door. And if there was a fire or any other issue that we can't get out that front door, as well as the fact that you couldn't get to the restroom in the front, that is not access to the public. That's not a public entrance. The public entrance is the front door. So I think we need to look at that, because if it'd be able to let the public media in, that would be the front. That's not the back door.
And I would be more than happy to do so. However, the staff will not be in the building whenever Commissioner Gomez is in the building.
Chair Holden.
Yes, you are both the chair and the commissioner. Either one is appropriate. But ultimately, once again, to explain my decision, the staff has been directed to minimize their possible exposure to COVID, considering the seriousness of the consequences should any one of us get infected. We will accept some risk based on what we have to do. However, we will not accept any unnecessary risk.
Thank you, Mr. Poe. Commissioners, is there any other further discussion at the moment?
That is all. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that there was a change and that we're making sure the media was, I didn't want the media coming to the door and not be able to get in the front door and leaving.
Right. Yes, I mean, I understand now, Brian, why there was a change. Just in the future, again, make sure you alert the media with ample time so that there's no confusion.
And we will do that with the future notices.
And Mr. Poe, you don't dictate when the meetings are.
No,
We have a physical location of the meeting that rests solely upon the chair. I just want to let you know that I'm not asking for discussion. I'm just telling you.
Understood.
Thank you. Moving on to our first item of stated business, the November 3rd general election, certifying of ballot styles. Mr. Poe, would you like to lead us through that?
There are 342 ballot styles for this upcoming election for our 137 precincts. The staff has triple checked the ballots and we believe them to be perfectly accurate.
Okay.
It took approximately 24 man hours to do so over the past 3 days.
There we go.
Brian, how many ballot styles did you say that was?
342.
I have a question.
Yes.
That seems like a lot less than it used to be. What changed?
It typically comes in around 300 and something during the general election. What you might be thinking of is during the primary, we can have upwards of 500 because people have the option to choose Democratic, Republican, or nonpartisan.
It seems like I remember back in 2012, we had around about 432 to 416.
Let's see. Well, ultimately, the number of ballot styles depends on the filings. So I can check that if you'd like. But this is well within the normal range.
Okay, thanks.
It's very difficult to proof this without either having the samples in front of me or a laptop to have a big enough screen to read these.
So just for reference, Commissioner Starr, we had 283 ballot styles in the 2012 general.
I must be thinking of the primary then. I remember uploading and there was a lot.
Yes, we definitely have more ballot styles than just about anybody in the state.
Brian, I just want to thank you and the staff for going through all this. I know it's a lot, so thank you for your diligence in triple checking all of these ballot styles.
And thank you, sir, and also Commissioner Starr for your concern about the staff and for going out of your way to not expose us to COVID-19.
For the record, I have not been diagnosed with COVID-19.
I have a question. Are we-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are we allowed to, are we allowed to review these? Do we have to review these, well, on, I guess, on the call, or can we take a moment and review these and recess and then come back?
If you'll want to take a recess, that is definitely within your ability.
It's very difficult to review this on a small device.
Well,
I
I kind of
can't adequately
want to do
review
it
the
on two
right now.
devices. That's what I was
Um,
kind of thinking. Yeah, like between the phone and the computer, because I like to do it on dual monitor,
mhm.
the spreadsheet, and then go back and forth, because I really want to check, because this is a good opportunity because of electronic, because it's a digital copy, because it's, to go back between the list and the PDFs.
Mhm.
To do it. But I don't want to do anything that's, obviously not transparent.
Mr. Poe, when do we need to get this to the printer?
If I had a print copy, I could do that.
Or
We've
Amanda?
got to get-
Or is Amanda on the line?
We pushed very hard to have these ballots completed by today at 5:30.
Actually, I have an idea. Could you put the spreadsheet on the share screen?
That would be good.
Maybe that would work.
And you
But
can just scroll down to the ballot chart, Betty.
we could just kind of go back and that way. Because instead of having to constantly do samples,
There
we
we
could
go.
just kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
Where is
That-
it?
ballot draw. Are you looking for the ballot chart, Madam Commissioner?
Yeah, I think that would be the best thing to look at first. What do
Okay,
y'all think? Maybe first is we could go by each area. Maybe first do the federal. And then, what do you think, commissioners? First go by the federal and then,
That's fine. That
then
makes sense.
yeah, then do each kind of category, kind of do a scan of all the ballots, and then do the next one, the next column, and the next.
Yep. And then we'll do our famous one person reading and the other person reading the ballot. What's on
Okay.
the ballot to make sure it lines up.
Okay.
I think that's the best course of action.
I'll say we take about just about 10 minutes for us to each kind of start looking through before we talk about anything.
Okay.
As we're
That works.
checking through these.
Almost 6 o'clock up on the dot, so I'll circle back at 6:10.
Yeah, and we're not taking a recess. We're just looking.
No, we're not. We're still,
Okay.
it will be very boring for anyone watching, but just know that in about 10 minutes, we're gonna start talking again.
Great, thank you.
I know it's a little bit before 6:10, but I have a question about the nonpartisan judicial races. I have my candidate ballot position draw paper that I'm looking at from our last meeting, 7 pages. Did we miss drawing positions for our judicial candidates? Did we do that earlier at an earlier meeting that I?
The nonpartisan races are a runoff. And like every runoff, the order stays the same.
Okay.
But with the candidates that did not make the runoff eliminated.
Okay. I just wanted to double check that. Because they weren't on our position sheet. And I wanted to make sure I was not missing any paperwork. Thank you.
Someone scroll back to the beginning of the document.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Scroll back to the beginning of the document. Thank you. Okay, I've completed the president.
Me too.
I found a system in place to make it faster.
Good job. Okay. We have a lot of people running for president. I have not found any discrepancies with our drawn order and what's there in the sampling that I have gone through. I happen to have a hard copy of the ballot position draw from our last meeting, so I actually have been checking all the way down the ballot.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I have the when we had the spreadsheet from before, I was filling it in as we went, so I have that copy as well. And I've been spot checking throughout all the ballots, down ballot. I've not found any type of inconsistencies or anything.
Nope. I do have a question. Denise Ennett, is she running unopposed?
I believe so.
Yes, she is.
So is she not, would not be in the unopposed candidates? Or is this the change, is there a change of law? We have to know there was last session about having to list the name, there's a change of the names candidate, but is there a reason why she's not in the unopposed list?
Madam Chair, I believe there was a law change last session, but I'm sorry, Brian, go ahead.
I was going to say there is no more unopposed list.
There isn't?
No, they eliminated it whenever they introduce the bill that will require that state officials have their own unopposed box.
Well, we have the unopposed candidates box to fill in on this ballot, the sample ballot that I'm looking at.
Yes, but we don't list them.
So why would State Rep Ennett be listed by herself?
Because we are required to list state non-judicial officials in a box by themselves if they're unopposed.
Okay.
Yep,
That
that's what I was
was
going to
my-
say. I believe.
That was
I
my
believe-
question about the change in the law.
Yeah, I believe from a state board of election commissioners meeting I attended, they had said that, or a training, they had said that anything state and up, you had to list their names, but then everyone below that, more like on the county and local level, could just be one bubble for unopposed candidates.
I wanted to verify that if that's just in compliance with the law, and it sounds like it is. Okay.
Do these ballots contain the issues that were struck?
I haven't found any.
They do not. We got that notice at 2:00 yesterday and removed those issues from the ballot.
Good job, Amanda.
Issue 4 and 5, correct?
Hmm.
That is correct.
Yep. I don't see them on here, so good job with that. Thank you.
I would
11,
Mr. Poe or Amanda or whoever would be able to get this information, by removing those two issues, how much money is that saving the taxpayers in Pulaski County for the cost of printing ballots? Because it's going to make it, is it going to make it one page less?
It doesn't really have any effect. All the ballots are still 2 pages.
So they'd be 2 pages regardless?
Pretty much.
I didn't shrink them at all? No.
Because it looks like there's quite a bit of space on that second page left.
Well, at least we didn't shrink the font.
Right. Are we ready to move on to reading the issues aloud?
I am, Commissioner Starr.
I'm still looking at their
Okay,
candidates.
listen, you take your time. This is important for the people of Pulaski County. No, do
Yeah,
not rush.
I don't want to be like Garland County
No, we don't.
or Lonoke County or any other county.
And I
Moving
will-
off a
Yes,
person's name.
please preface, it's not anything else about the county. It's, for example, like the
The
Secretary
name.
of State race that was left off.
Yeah.
Yes. We have nothing but warm regards for Garland County otherwise. However, we would like not to make that same mistake that they unfortunately made this last go round.
Hey, Amanda. Are the Are the fonts the same throughout? 'Cause it looks very, to me, they look different.
I'm sorry, the font?
Yeah.
Yes, it is the same.
So the font on the millage is the same as it is on the,
Yeah, all the ballot issues are font 12.
and it's not a different font.
No, I
It
use
looks
the
like a
same.
different font to me.
I just used the default font that's in the software. I didn't change any of it except for the size.
Is this the biggest we can do without making things onto another page?
If I move it up another size on the issues, it will potentially move some stuff off to a third page.
I don't want that.
There are a few ballots where issue 6 is on the third column on the back. And so if we make it any bigger, it will push it off the page.
Okay.
I saw that. Yeah. Thank you, Amanda.
No problem. And just a note, before we removed those 2 issues, the font was down to an 8 just to make it fit.
Oh, gosh.
Gee. Yeah, 8's not very readable. 12 is better for
Yeah.
sure.
14 is ideal.
14 would absolutely be ideal. Man, are you gonna make me have to bring some bifocals to the poll this year if you had to get me down to a size 8?
Where does Little Rock School, what ballot number does Little Rock School Board start? Or what page? Never mind, I can do a find.
It starts at ballot style 170,
So that's towards the end. And then
precinct 58, which let me find it real quick.
in the 300s, maybe?
All right. Page 339.
All right. So this millage is not changing. Correct?
No, correct. It's not changing.
Same rate.
Yeah, I'm just confused by the article I saw.
It's the same rate, but it's been extended in years. It's not clear in the millage language, but I did call and verify with Stevens, a bond firm that prepares the school ballot for the Little Rock School District, and they did confirm that.
So I see where it says it will mature over a period of 30 years. So that's an extension of what it was previously, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Here it is. Do we have the ballot measure certification? Did I miss with the millages and the, hold on, let me see if it's here. Millage language, here it is, good, we do have that.
Betty, could you scroll down to House District 31, please? Okay, just checking. I had something different on my sheet that I filled out the other day. So, all right, thank you.
On 31, I had Brooks 2, Rajenadran 1.
Okay, that's what I had also. So that's reversed then. Because then Keith Brooks should be in position 1.
No, 2. And Rajenadran is 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. What numbers did you have drawn for those?
7 and 5.
Ah, got it. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, here's why it looks different on what's on the screen is different, is in a different order. On the ballot position draw, Brooks was listed first and Rajenadran was listed second, but on the screen, I know I'm sorry, Mr.
Rajendran.
Rajendran, thank you. And is it a Mr.?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
It is a mistake.
I wasn't 100% sure. Rajendran, sorry, candidate Rajendran. I will learn your name, but in the original for the position draw, the two of those were in a different order, but the numbers are correct that are on there. And
Okay,
so
great.
we have
That,
Brooks
that,
the second, and
the 7 that Mr. Brooks had
I
pulled.
have a question. Where is where's the list that shows the polling sites based on ballot? Number.
The precinct number is the first number on the ballot chart.
I know that. Where's the list that verifies it? Because I thought Chenal Valley Baptist was not open as a polling site.
Chenal Valley Baptist is, Chenal Valley Church of Christ is closed.
Did I lose y'all?
No, we're here.
We're here. Madam Chair, it looks like I had written down a 7 for Keith Brooks, but it looked like a 2. So that's why I was, it was my mistake. I'd rather it be my mistake than a mistake on the ballot, so.
Well,
I'm
I'm
happy
sure
to be
Mr.
correct.
Brooks would have been happier to be the first. But not, we can go back to the tape, but I'm very confident it was a 7.
No, I believe it's been verified by both you and Betty, so I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see the Excel spreadsheet that shows ballot number and polling site match, precinct number to verify those.
Brian will go ahead and send that to the commissioners so we can do that.
Because if I remember correctly, Chanel Baptist said no, because that's mine. But I see them on ballot number 186. Or 180, yeah, 186. And I wasn't looking for it yet. I hadn't even started to look at it. I just noticed it popped up. And your silence is scaring me.
Well, I'm looking for it right now.
Okay.
Okay, what page number are you on so I can get there?
339.
Got it.
Sorry, my sugar is dropping. I'm getting hungry. I'm getting a slump.
On page 339, I've got Winfield. I've got 58 Winfield, UNC.
Okay,
what I have
sorry.
on.
371. 371.
Chenal Valley Baptist.
Yeah,
Precinct 64.
yeah, precinct 60, page 1, or ballot style 186. It's Amanda's silence that worries me because she knows what she's doing.
I'm verifying right now. Hold on just
Okay.
a moment.
Thank you.
I don't know if you heard me earlier, but Chenal Valley Baptist is on board. It's Chenal Valley Church of Christ that declined.
Okay, well, that's positive.
What precinct is that? Chenal Valley Church of Christ.
Chenal Valley Church of Christ is usually 64,
Mhm.
and Chenal Valley Baptist is usually 68.
I mean, not positive for the people that go there, but positive for mine.
I think that, like in one of the earlier updates, they might have declined, but we were able to talk to them and get them to change their mind.
Yeah, I
That's
remember it being my polling site. Not that I vote on election day, but it's would be my polling site.
Because I'm looking at the last update that you sent, Brian, as far as which locations we're not willing to serve, and I see Chenal Valley Church of Christ on there.
Good deal. So
Okay, great.
we need to be checking that list. I mean, the list, the spreadsheet of the cross comparison between the ballot style numbers and the locations. Especially with all the changes that keep happening.
Brian, is the and maybe Jody can answer this. Is the website polling locations, is that up to date with the changes that we've made?
There have been a lot of changes made recently, so I'm not sure. Like,
Can
it's
we
still
make
not,
sure that's updated by Monday?
it's still not set at this point because we still have several out where we're trying to get them nailed down.
Gotcha. Well, it does look like it's been updated at some point because, well, no, maybe not. I don't know.
They were updated earlier in the spring. I want to say possibly even after the pandemic shutdown had begun. But as Brian had stated, we've had a lot of fluctuation because of the pandemic. So as soon as we get confirmation, or as soon as you guys want, they're locked down, we'll be making the final update so that we do indeed have correct information on the website.
Jody, could you add a line, a sentence on that page that says this is current as of whatever date, and
Okay.
say something about that these locations are subject to change. We'll have a finalized list soon. I just want to make sure that if any voters go to that page, they don't think that that's current and up to date.
Right. I can do that.
Thank you, Jody.
Good catch, Commissioner Price. Well, Jody, after we send these to the printer,
Yes.
we're not going to be, you don't anticipate making any changes to polling locations, do we?
Are you asking me that? Because
Well,
that's above my pay grade. I don't really do that. So that's up to you guys. I'll just make sure the information is as it needs to be on the website as directed by all of you guys.
Yes, please. Do that. What Commissioner Price suggested is
Yes,
excellent. Please do that.
I will do it.
And feel free to always do a last updated or updated as of for all of our pages, regardless of the information. Just kind of as you go, as we upload things and put
These
things.
are temporary updates, aren't they? Brian, aren't these temporary updates?
For the most part, they will be. Ultimately, that's a determination that's going to have to be made down the road, because this is a lot of these changes, or the changes that are being made because we have a COVID pandemic. And if some of these are, and ultimately the decision will have to be made down the road by the board as to which sites to retain after this, whenever this hopefully ends.
So respectfully to Commissioner Price's statement, Jody, I would not use that terminology, because that's normally a policy change. That means that it's effective until, for now and forever, until you change it again. So anytime you use an effective date, that means that's a change for like from here on out. If you're going to make a change to something, I would say a temporary change effective on this date. And
That's
then
fine.
when it changes again, you need to change it as in effective, a permanent change until it's changed again. So we can come up with something to give to you, but we don't want people
Yes.
to think it's a permanent polling change.
That you took the words out of my mouth. If you guys can you can provide me with whatever text is
Absolutely.
appropriate, and I'll make sure that gets put on there.
We will. We're not going to put that on you.
Thank you.
That's a good call,
Yeah, but
Commissioner.
we have to be really careful, because information that's on the official site, which is the Secretary of State's website, that's going to be their actual, polling site that's referenced there, not the temporary changes. So
Right.
that, too, also gets confusing, and that's why people end up going to the wrong place. That happens every election.
Mhm.
Jody, is there any way that let's say take one of the on the website, take one of the precincts that changed? If you could say, it's this location, and then maybe in parentheses it says temporarily changed to this location.
I'll tell you what, I was just looking at the page just to be sure, and what we have on there currently, for instance, says notice election day polling locations vary for each election. Refer to the notice of election on the home page. That's what we currently have.
I would suggest doing that. And that should be done for everything. And I really strongly recommend that on the clerk's website, that they also have another search feature to find voter information where they provide information on polling site information. And it would be really nice if they would also put that statement so that people don't, think that that's the final place that they're voting, and instead will refer back to our page to look at the notice of election. That would be very
Amanda,
helpful.
you
Jody.
rock. I just got your email with a list of the polling places, polling locations.
You are welcome.
Excellent.
Yes, thank you, Amanda.
Well, do we want to spot check this as well?
Just found my work. Let's see here. I haven't gotten it. Will you send that to my Gmail?
I sent it to your Gmail. Hold on just a second. Let me make sure.
That's in spam. Hold on.
Do you want me to send? No.
I'll get it. It doesn't like some people. Yet it went to spam.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
And
I
Jody,
know.
so I'm having Gmail thinks that our voteplasky.net is spam.
Yes, I concur because it does that to me, and I
How
have
do we fix that?
investigated it, and as of yet, I can't find anything
I know.
conclusive coming from our mail server that would make it do that.
I don't know why it does it.
But I am going to continue to see if I can't get to the bottom of it so that we can prevent that from going in anybody's spam folder. But I have a sneaking suspicion it has something to do with vote being in our email, and
I'll say
so
it's
many.
.net.
Yeah,
Pardon?
I think it's .net too.
.net.
Right, that would take a lot to change. We certainly couldn't do it quickly before this election, but that's something we could look into as well.
Well, Jody,
.gov.
if we had a .gov.org, we had a different
Mhm.
little ending there. Jody, we are going to be talking about our budget. It's
Yes.
coming up quick, and we have the general election at the end of the year as well. I know you probably don't have a lot of extra time, but could you look into the cost of changing emails, or is there a reason why we can't have a Pulaski, like a Pulaski County email? Why do we have to have ours voteplasky.net? Could we just be folded in on the Pulaski County government email system?
I can certainly check on that because it seems like in the past this has come up with a previous commission, and I apologize for not knowing right off the top of my
Oh, it's
head, but
okay.
it seemed like there was an issue because of the way we have to do business separate from, say, the clerk and the judge's office, for instance, elected officials. But I don't know. I will find that out though, and I will let you know.
Okay, if you could just
what the
investigate that.
exact.
And then
Yes.
look into a different domain. Is that the correct title? Is that the word I'm trying? Is that what it is? Is it a domain name? Is that what it's
A
called?
domain, yeah, a different domain. They're all, yeah.
So if you could kind of just do some legwork on that. And
I will
see if
say,
you can do it.
we have indeed also looked into that too, and I would suggest that if we do plan on doing that, that we probably not do it until after the general. We're so close because
Oh, no.
when you
Well, we're not
change things like
implementing
that,
it this
people
year.
would be
No.
lost. Yeah.
No.
Okay, I
This is
just
like
wanted to
a-
make sure.
But I want to look. I would like you to look into it now.
Yeah.
So January, let's say,
Yes.
we could do that and make those changes.
I will definitely look into that.
Okay, good.
So
Thank you, Jody.
I'm being really nitpicky now, but this is my, in a former life, I worked at a marketing firm and I would proofread ads, but I'm seeing some ballots where the letter in the top left-hand corner, there's a comma after it. And there's also a comma after the precinct name. It's like, for example, page 632,
Down there.
128 St. John Vision Center.
Commissioner Price, I can answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if a precinct has more than one precinct split,
Mhm.
that combines together to make a ballot style. It puts a comma there because the
Got it.
polling place name and the area, which is what that letter is up in the corner, is in a additional text box. And so I had to go, it wanted to print the polling place name that many times for how many splits there
Mhm.
were that made that ballot. So I eliminated the polling place name and it still wanted to leave the commas. So
Okay.
nothing I
explains-
could actually remove, but that's why they're there.
Okay.
Okay, great. I thought I was losing it for some. I saw it here and there, but not consistently. So thank you for
Right. And some of them
explanation.
have 4 and 5 commas. Some of them just have 1 or 2, and some don't have any because they don't have splits. So
Got it. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Well, Amanda, thanks for taking off the multiple name listings. Even
Yes,
if
it was
the-
using up a lot of space on the ballot too, and it looked stupid. Not
Yeah.
that the commas don't, but it doesn't look as bad. So the only way to prevent that would be to either not put the name on there, or I could eliminate those splits, but then that eliminates the splits that are on the ballot chart for the clerk. So that doesn't help them any.
No,
Right.
we can deal with the comma.
I
Right.
deal with
Maybe we can go for a. I'm not worried about a couple extra commas in it on the top of a form right now, but maybe for a future election after when the general is over with, you can get with Secretary of State, ES&S, and see if we can just kind of eliminate that extraneous printing of the commas for a future time. So just Amanda, stick that on your after November list, if you would.
Right. I will look into that then. So I'll have a lot more time then.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Are you ready to go over the language?
Uh-huh.
I am.
Have
Okay.
you all proceed?
What do you want to start with? The ballot issues or the millage? The amendments or the I guess the mills it's first, right? Okay, who wants to read the mill document? And Amanda, I see that's in a Word document. Did we get it that way as we requested?
Yes, we did. We got all the ballot issues in Word documents, so I simply copied and pasted it onto the ballot.
Yay! All right, who wants to read the Word document from the Pulaski County Special School District?
Hold on a second. Pulaski County School District. Well, since that's our brand new school, I'll do it.
Okay. I'm doing a spot check I'm on page 641.
Mhm. All right. I'm making sure I'm on the Pulaski County yet. Okay. I'm just starting with where it says 40.7 mil school tax.
Perfect.
Okay. The total rate proposed above includes the uniform rate of tax, parentheses, the statewide uniform rate, parentheses, to be collected on all taxable property in the state and remitted to the state treasurer pursuant to amendment number 74 to the Arkansas Constitution to be used solely for maintenance and operation of schools in the state.
Okay.
As for,
question.
yeah,
For what was in the parentheses was statewide uniform rate in quotes, and was it capitalized?
yes.
Okay. And I'm at that end of that sentence. Go ahead.
As provided in amendment number 74, comma, is number NO, period. The statewide uniform rate replaces a portion of the existing rate of tax levied by the school district and available for maintenance and operation of schools in this district. The total proposed school tax levy of 40.7 mils includes 25 mils specifically voted for general maintenance and operation, 0.9 mil voted for dedicated maintenance and operation dedicated specifically for technology purposes, and 14.8 mils voted for debt service previously voted as a continuing levy pledged for the retirement of existed bonded indebtedness. The surplus revenues produced each year by debt service millage may be used by the district for other school purposes. The total proposed school tax levy of 40.7 mils represents the same rate presently being collected. For tax and then against tax. And for is all caps and against is all caps.
Well, that's not all caps on the ballot. The F and for is capitalized and the A and against is capitalized on the ballot.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
On the ballot, the F and for is capitalized and the A and against is capitalized. But the rest is regular case or lowercase, I guess would be the.
I'll refer to Amanda on that.
All right. That part I did not copy and paste since it goes into a separate field, but I can put those in all caps if you would like.
The words are exactly the same. I guess it should be the way it was given to us. The language is the same. Commissioners?
Well, I want to bring up that on, let's say, issue 1, issue 2, etc., they have it all in caps. Like for issue is all in caps. So they're not being given to us uniformly. So I'm of the mind that we should keep them in a uniform way on the ballot.
I'm in the mind that it's supposed to be done exactly the way it's presented.
And if that's how it's presented, that's how it was given to us.
Okay.
I mean, I
Then what-
like this committee as someone who constantly edits and writes, but it's not how it's supposed to be done on the ballot. It's supposed to be done how it's presented.
It is.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Although it looks nicer to be
It looks
uniform.
nicer.
And it is the exact same letters. Well, it's not the same case, but it's the same words and the same spelling. But if it was presented, this is what was presented to us from the school district. I don't know if we should deviate from that.
all right, well, that's fine with me.
Because even if
we'll
they
have-
put it in a different, like if they put against first and for last, I mean, I think we're supposed to put it in that order.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I will update that on the ballot before we send those off to the printer.
Thank you.
No problem.
Did we have any other millage besides Pulaski County Special School District as I'm
Yes.
scrolling through here? We have
Yes,
Little
there's-
Rock too?
North Little Rock and Little Rock.
Okay. We had the usual suspects there for the millage. Let me go ahead and
Little
find
Rock,
them.
North Little Rock, and Pulaski. Yeah.
All right. Here's a North Little Rock. And it's easier because I just have the one device. It's easier for me to read the document. So I'm on a tiny little screen and I can zoom in this. If one of the other two of you would like to read out loud the North Little Rock School District millage.
And go
I don't have
ahead.
to
I
do the
will.
one-
Let me bring that up.
But I'm just going to follow along. I could, but Commissioner Starr, if you want to officially be the one who follows along, and I just follow as well. But if just one of the two of you could read it, because it's just easier for me to not go back and forth since I'm on a tiny device here.
Okay. One moment.
like at the very end.
Okay, here we go. 48.3 mil school tax. The total tax rate proposed
Wait,
above.
wait. Stop. Does it say millage above that?
No, it says mil.
Before 48.3? What does the very top say? Like the very first word?
48.3.
There's a lot of stuff above it. It has like a whole letter before it.
Okay. On the ballot, it says millage, 48.3 mil school tax.
Yeah.
Where is what is a sample ballot that has that on there?
I'm on page 117.
117. Okay, thank you. Okay, it says millage first, and the other document does not say millage first. It just says 48.3 mil school tax.
All right, so that doesn't match. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, 48.3 mil school tax. The total tax rate proposed above includes the uniform rate of tax, open parentheses, this is in quotations, statewide uniform rate, close parentheses, and statewide uniform rate is the first letters capitalized of each word, to be collected on all taxable property in the state and remitted to the state treasurer pursuant to amendment numbers NO period 74 to the Arkansas Constitution, to be used solely for maintenance and operation of schools in the state. As provided in amendment number 74, the statewide uniform rate represents a portion of the existing rate of tax levied by the.
Represents or replaces?
Oh, replaces. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Continue on.
The statewide uniform rate replaces a portion of the existing rate of tax levied by this school district and available for maintenance and operation of schools in this district. The total proposed school tax levy of 48.3 mils includes 25.0 mils specifically voted for general maintenance and operation, and 23.3 mils voted for debt service, previously voted as a continuing levy pledged for the retirement of existing bond indebtedness. The surplus revenues produced each year by debt service millage may be used by the district for other school purposes. The total proposed school tax levy of 48.3 mils represents the same rate presently being collected. And then for tax and against tax. And the F is capitalized, but the O and the R are not. And then the T in tax is capitalized.
Okay,
And
that's
then
different. Go ahead. We'll go ahead with the against.
And the against, the A is capitalized and the T is capitalized in tax.
Okay, so here's the differences. For the for tax and against tax, the F is the only thing capitalized and the A is the only thing capitalized. So the tax are both lowercase. So that's not the same. And then the millage word at the top is not the same. But everything else sounds exactly like it's exactly right.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So, Star, you concur? Commissioner Star, are you still with us?
Yes, sorry, I muted myself.
No, it's okay. Did you find any other discrepancies with the North Little Rock School District?
No. Mm-mm.
So let's go to. I keep finding plastic. Let's try the other one here. Let's try LR. Pulaski County Special. Everyone I go to, it's Pulaski County Special.
I know.
North Little Rock. North Little Rock. Come on. Pulaski County Special. Gee. All right, who's got a? That's North Little Rock too. Well, my little randomization here is not helping. Let's see. And then, is there someone who would not have a millage on the ballot? Is there a part of the county that would not have a millage? That's not in
Yes,
any-
Madam Chair, Jacksonville School District will not have a millage.
Oh, Jacksonville. Yep, that's the. There we go. All right, someone find me a Little Rock. Give me a page number here so I can follow along. Keep coming up with Plastic County Special.
Page 339.
Perfect, thank you. Hold on, almost there. I kept scrolling. There we go. Ha! Thank you, Amanda. Little Rock School District. All right, who wants to read this one?
I got it. Okay. 46.40 mill school tax.
Okay, stop right there. Is the word millage above that?
No, it just says MILL school tax.
Okay, so that's a discrepancy on the ballot.
And it really should say mills, but it says. Okay, the total rate proposed above includes the uniform rate of tax, close parentheses, the statewide uniform rate, and it's in quotation marks. That was open parentheses, sorry, and then close parentheses.
Okay,
To be, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Affirmative, go ahead.
Be collected on all taxable property in the state and remitted to the state treasurer pursuant to amendment number 74 to the Arkansas Constitution to be used solely for maintenance and operation of schools in the state. As provided in amendment number 74, the statewide uniform rate replaces a portion of the existing rate of tax levied by this school district and available for maintenance and operation of schools in this district. The total proposed school tax levy of 46.40 mills includes 32.0 mills specifically voted for general maintenance and operation, 2.0 mills for dedicated maintenance and operation mills dedicated specifically for the purposes of technology and capital improvements, and 12.40 mills voted for debt service previously voted as a continuing levy pledged for the retirement of existing bonded indebtedness. The 12.40 existing debt service mills now pledge for the retirement of existing bonded indebtedness, which debt service mills will continue after retirement of the bonds to which now pledged, will be a continuing debt service tax until the retirement of proposed bonds to be issued in the principal amount of $329,185,000, and which will mature over a period of 30 years and will be issued for the purpose of refunding certain outstanding bonded indebtedness, and for erecting and equipping new school facilities and making additions and improvements for existing facilities. The surplus revenues produced each year by the debt service millage may be used by the district for other school purposes. The total proposed school tax levy of 46.40 mills represents the same rate presently being collected. For tax, for is all caps, and tax is all lowercase. And against tax, against is all caps, and tax is all lowercase.
Okay, there's a discrepancy there. The for and the against are different. On the sample, it's just the capital F for and the capital A and against.
Mhm.
So those are the
I can-
discrepancies.
Hey, Brian in there?
Mr. Poe? No, he is not. Actually, did you need him?
No.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay. Okay. Is that it for our mills?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Ballot issues.
Anybody in this office?
Not that I've seen. No, sir. Okay. Okay. All right, issue number 1. Who wants to tackle that?
I will. It's my turn, I think.
Okay. And same thing, it's just easier for me because I've got the small screen to just read it on the sample ballot.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready, go ahead.
Issue number 1, and number is capital N, lowercase o with a period. Open parentheses, popular name. The P in popular and the N in name is capitalized, end parentheses. An amendment to the Arkansas Constitution continuing a 0.5%, open parentheses, 0.5%, close parentheses, sales and use tax for state highways and bridges, semicolon, county roads, comma, bridges and other surface transportation after the retirement of the bonds authorized in Arkansas Constitution, comma, Amendment 91.
Okay, are a majority of those words capitalized except for the articles like for and a?
Correct.
You know how to get out and everything?
Yes, sir, I can. I've not been provided with access keys to get into the room, but absolutely, I can push a button and get out. I do appreciate that concern.
Well, how long you gonna stay here?
Until our meeting is over.
Oh, y'all got a meeting?
We do.
Where at?
It's supposed to be in the Jeffrey Hawkins room, but I wasn't given access to that.
What time is the meeting supposed to start in that room?
It was supposed to start at 5.
Okay,
And so I'm
well,
here in the hallway because I don't have access to that room.
I mean, is the meeting over or? is it-
No, we're doing it right now.
Oh, on the phone.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Commissioner.
And I wanted to note there's no period after 91.
Okay. Yep. I track that.
Open parentheses, ballot title, B in ballot is capitalized, T in title is capitalized, end parentheses. An amendment to the Arkansas Constitution to continue a levy of a 0.5% sales and use tax for state highways and bridges, semicolon, county roads, bridges, and other surface transportation, semicolon.
Was there a comma after
Sorry?
county roads? County roads, comma, bridges, comma?
Bridges, comma, and other surface transportation, semicolon, and city streets, comma, bridges, comma, and other surface transportation after the retirement of the bonds authorized in Arkansas Constitution, comma, Amendment 91, comma, as special revenue to be distributed under the Arkansas Highway Revenue Distribution Law, period.
Is
Or
Arkansas
issue-
Constitution Amendment capitalized and Arkansas Highway Revenue Distribution Law capitalized?
Yes, Arkansas Constitution Amendment 91. The first letter of each word is capitalized. Arkansas Highway Revenue Distribution Law is capitalized. The first letter of every word is capitalized.
Okay.
And at the beginning, amendment is capitalized. Amendment to the Arkansas Constitution.
Yep, that matches.
And at the bottom, for issue NO period 1, and against issue number 1, NO period 1, it's all in caps. Everything is in caps.
All right, there's a discrepancy there with the all caps. The sample ballot doesn't have that on there. Okay. But everything else looks like it tracks.
All right. Ready to go into the next one?
Sure. You ready with issue 2? Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the issue number 2. Popular name, A constitutional amendment to amend the term limits applicable to members of the Assembly to be known as the Arkansas Term Limit Amendment, and that's quotation marks. And this is all capitalized based on
Okay.
a legislative, you know,
Got it.
bill. Ballot title. A constitutional amendment to be known as the Arkansas Term Limits Amendment, again in quotation marks, semicolon, and amending the term limits applicable to members of the General Assembly, and General Assembly is capitalized. For issue number 2 and against issue number 2, again, is all caps.
Okay, and that doesn't match. Once again, they're that same, although the format, Amanda, I must say, it's nice and uniform on there, but we got that mismatch there with the for and against. But everything else tracks.
Okay, are we ready to move on to issue number 3?
Yep.
Okay. Issue NO period 3, open parentheses, popular name, P is capitalized as is the N in name, end parentheses, a constitutional amendment to amend the process for the submission, comma, challenge, comma, and approval of proposed initiated acts, comma, constitutional amendments, comma, and referenda, no period. Open parentheses, ballot title, B is capitalized and T is title, T in title is capitalized, end parentheses. An amendment to the Arkansas Constitution to amend the process for the submission, comma, challenge, comma, and approval of proposed initiated acts, comma, constitutional amendments, comma, and referenda, period. For issue NO period 3 against issue NO period 3, both of those lines are all in caps.
Okay.
As in the
Everything
previous-
matches except for the for issue and against issue. Same as the last couple. So that needs to be up. Besides the for and against lines, everything else matches. Okay, 6.
Let me skip. All right. I will try not to butcher some of these words.
Awesome. I thought whoever would like to get all the medical terms.
Issue number 6, popular name, again in the same format as it was earlier. An act to amend the definition of quotation marks practice of optometry. Ballot title, I'm going to make this bigger so I can read it. Again,
Practice about optometry in quotes.
I was joking there. Yes, it is. The practice of optometry is in quotes.
Okay.
An act to amend the Arkansas Code, that is capitalized, regarding the definition of practice of optometry, that is not capitalized, but it is in quotes, semicolon, providing that the definition of quotes practice of optometry is amended to permit licensed optometrists to use ophthalmic here I go. Ophthalmic lasers for the following surgical procedures, perform injections, open parentheses, excluding intravenous or intraocular injections, close parentheses, comma, incision and curettage of a chalazion, comma, removal and biopsy of skin lesions with low risk of malignancy, open parentheses, excluding lesions involving the lid, margin, or nasal to the puncta. I'm not sure about that. Close parentheses, comma, laser capsulotomy, comma, and laser, oh my goodness, a word that starts with a T, semicolon, providing, thank you.
I said it wrong. Go ahead.
Semicolon, providing that licensed optometrists continue to be prohibited from using ophthalmic lasers for surgical procedures other than those previously identified, comma, performing cataract surgery, comma, performing radial keratotomy surgery, comma, and selling prescription drugs, semicolon, providing that the State Board of Optometry, State Board and Optometry are capitalized, has the power and duty to establish credentialing requirements for a licensee to administer or perform the following procedures, injections, open parentheses, excluding intravenous or intra, I can't say,
Ocular.
thank you. Injections, close parentheses, comma, incision and cure. You know, I'm a smart person, but this is making me feel really dumb. Curettage of a chalazion,
Go, that's fine. Go forward.
removal and biopsy of skin lesions with low risk of malignancy, open parentheses, excluding lesions involving the lid margin or nasal to the
Puncta.
puncta,
I-
close
I don't-
parentheses, comma, laser capsulotomy, comma, and laser, the T word, semicolon, provided that the State Board of Optometry, capitalized state, capitalized board, capitalized optometry, shall require every optometrist who meets the requirements for certification to perform authorized laser procedures to report to the board, and board is not capitalized, regarding the outcome of the procedures performed in a format as required or directed by the board, comma, and these reports shall also be sent to the Department of Health, department's capitalized, health is capitalized, semicolon, this act being act number, act capitalized, number capitalized, but NO dot, period, 579 of the regular session of 2019, regular capitalized, session capitalized. 4, issue number 6, 4, issue NO, all caps, and then period 6, against issue NO 6, all capitalized, a period after O, the end.
Okay, same issue at the for issue and against issue at the bottom does not match. But everything
And
else.
issue, not knowing some of these words, but that's it.
That's, but the words match.
Let's see if
Job,
Commissioner
Commissioner
Frost has a harder one. Or is that it?
Your name, Commissioner Starr, you don't work in that field, and so
Oh, goodness.
um,
That was fun.
but besides that, just the same kind of, Amanda, the kind of same for and against issue. Everything else matched.
Yes, ma'am, I will get that corrected.
Okay, so. Anything else, commissioners, for our spot checking and going through the sample ballots? Anything else we haven't gone over that we need to?
Just a great job, Amanda.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Amanda, you rock. This is a huge endeavor.
Maybe a phonics next time for
Yeah,
repeating.
for the commissioners.
Thank you. Be great.
Do phonetic spelling for medical.
Mhm, yeah. Yeah, they're great.
I don't know how to pronounce it either, so.
But I
That's
think
where
it's spelled
we're gonna let
correctly.
you do it next time. There we go.
I'll pass.
Well, I'll make a motion to certify the ballot styles with the minor edits by Ms. Amanda Dickens for the November 3rd, 2020 general election.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, motion carries. Amanda, well done.
Well done.
And Mr. Poe, you
well
once
done.
again have our permission to use our stamps. And I don't think we expressly said in this last meeting, you could use our stamps for attendance purposes, but for the last meeting as well as this, and any other meeting where all of us are not here at the office, please, Betty, you have permission to do that as well. Whoever's going to be filling out those forms, go ahead and use our stamps for that.
So noted.
So a vote center plan, Mr. Poe, give us the good news from the quorum court.
The quorum court had passed the vote center ordinance unanimously with no
Good.
discussion.
I like
this vote center plan, I was hoping to have the signed copy of the ordinance incorporated into it. However, they were not able to get that to me. So I will incorporate it on Monday, hopefully, whenever they get me that. Other than that, it's just been updated to include the 12th vote center,
Mhm.
and to update the polls to reflect what we currently have.
Okay.
All right, well, it's pretty cut and dry, I think. So I move to approve the updated vote center plan that will take place for
With the
November.
addition of the document that's going in on Monday.
Yes, with the addition of the document from the quorum court that hopefully Mr. Poe will receive on Monday.
A second with a comment. I thought that one person did vote against it.
I watched it and I didn't see anybody vote against it. Maybe I just missed that. But as far as I could tell, that they voted for it unanimously without discussion.
I read an article that someone did vote against it.
Well, even with the one against vote, it would still be enough to pass.
Yeah,
So-
I just want to make sure our minutes reflect correctly because I don't think I think one person did vote against it.
Well, so for the purposes of the minutes, let's clarify that aspect.
But yay. But yeah, second.
And Mr. Poe, well, did we vote on this?
Yeah, I said second.
That was a second. Was that a second?
Yes, that was a second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Mr. Poe, you may once again use our stamps to stamp the documents and get all that information filled in with the information from the quorum court. Okay. Go back to our meeting agenda. Okay. Redistricting. Okay, I just have one little thing for redistricting. It's not expecting a huge discussion tonight, but I just wanted to get everyone on the same page. So we're thinking about it because redistricting is going to be a huge thing that's coming up. And so we're moving on to other business. And this is a discussion of redistricting. It's going to be really short, but I just wanted the other commissioners to have this on their radar. And then Mr. Poe as well. As we are going forward, we need to start thinking about this. So we need to carefully evaluate our spending needs for has Washington County surpassed us? Or are we still the largest county, Mr. Poe?
We are by far the largest county.
Okay. I knew there was a lot of growth up in Northwest Arkansas, and I wasn't sure if I know that they're gunning for us trying to beat us for number one, but we're at least, I guess after the census, maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't be. I guess we'll see. But as of right now, so we need to carefully evaluate our spending needs. And I know this to be true from my time when I was at the Secretary of State's office, that the single most frequent criticism made to the Secretary of State's office, to Mark Martin in 2011 and 2012, was that Charlie Daniels had failed to advise local officials to budget and set aside additional money for map drawing and other funds needed to pay for consultants and others to redraw maps and to sync the new U.S. House, State House, State Senate maps to precinct lines. I had the experience of working for Mark Martin during that time. And that was a huge issue, budgeting at the local county levels. That wasn't done by many counties. So we need to think about that when we are getting our budget together. And, you know, we have by calendar year, our budget's going to be coming up quick. And we have a general election in November, also at the end of the year. So we need to start thinking about this now. How much money are we going to need to budget for these things? Because there's some statutory deadlines in 2021. We're looking at the years 2021, 2022, but 2021, I believe December 31st of 2021 is a deadline to redraw JP lines. And that's in our bailiwick, and we need to make sure that we have the funding to have the resources we need to do that effectively for the people of Pulaski County. So I wanted just to let the other commissioners know that, and also Mr. Poe be aware, we need to start looking into how much do we need a budget for redistricting.
Madam Chair, if I may.
You may.
Pulaski County has very good resources specifically for redistricting. And in the past, we've used MetroPlan to provide options for the board. And that doesn't cost us anything. Generally, what I can remember, I can tell you I was here for the last round of redistricting, and we did some training for the staff on the use of mapping software. However, ultimately, we mainly relied on the professionals over at MetroPlan for the creation of the maps, and they did a very fine job. And you know, one of the big things for that board was to try to match up the precinct lines as much as possible to other lines. Now we have several different entities drawing lines that can be difficult, but they did a very fine job.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that information. But I want to make sure that was on everyone's radar, and I didn't want it to sneak up on us. And so, Mr. Poe, and I know what you're doing, for example, tomorrow there's some poll worker training, so I don't expect you to have this ready by Monday. But in the near future, if you could get a little plan together for any possible costs, you can for example, MetroPlan, you can kind of pull up what we had last time. I assume we have all that documentation, have that available to the commissioners so we can see what's out there and we can plan and make sure that we don't have any money, any expenditures or anything that's going to sneak up on us that we're not budgeted for, because we want to make sure that we do what's best for the people. And it sounds like we have a lot of good resources, perhaps more than some of our neighboring counties around the state. So that's a good boon for us. But I wanted just to make sure we had that on everyone's mind. Don't forget redistricting. And if you haven't done your census, go do your census so we can have an accurate representation of the people here at Pulaski County. So the other thing, let's see. Okay, so poll worker assignments, our training and the needs for poll workers. Mr. Camp did provide a list of the poll work. Brian, did you send that email or did Camp send that email?
I sent the email with the updates and all the lists attached to it.
Got it. Thank you. So we can kind of see tentatively where we are. And commissioners, we're, as you are, everyone's acutely aware, we are training on a daily basis. So our list is going to grow. But I wanted to make sure that the commissioners had that information so we can select poll workers and get them assigned and make sure that the commissioners are making good decisions as far as that goes. So that's kind of heads up of where we are. And Mr. Poe, if you could continue to give us an update when you're giving us or you routinely have been doing a good job with this, with giving us an update of the number of poll workers and the ones our needs. If you could also include the tentative list of assignments so the commissioners can review and edit that as we go, so we can meet the needs of the county. But just that was the poll worker assignments. I wanted to also make sure the commissioners were aware of that, so they can be working on that as we go. We need to, obviously before the election, get that finalized, but I know we're still getting poll workers. So regarding poll workers, the next thing I wanted to let everyone know about, I forwarded an email to Mr. Poe shortly before this meeting, from the Election Assistance Commission. National Poll Worker Training Day.
Recruitment Day.
Recruitment Day, thank you. I said training, I need Recruitment Day is
On the mind.
coming up soonly. Golly, it's been a long day. It's been a long week. It's coming up quickly. So I forwarded that email, Mr. Poe, from the EAC, that there's resources for National Poll Worker Recruitment Day. There's some sample press releases. There are graphics and things to use on social media. And Mr. Poe, if you could forward that on to the commissioners so they can see that as well. And Joe, and go ahead, if I may have forwarded it to Jody, if not, if you could go ahead and send that to Jody. So we
I
have
got
some.
it. Yes, I did.
Good. There's
And-
content, mine that as much as you can for content, for stuff to push out.
And,
Chair Gomez,
hey,
go ahead.
Commissioner Price also requested this be placed on the agenda.
Well, that's good.
yeah, I was going to say, Chair Gomez, I got the same email and I did the same thing as you and forwarded it to Brian. I said, Brian, there's great graphics in here and a
Mhm.
toolkit and a press release. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely on the same mind of you with that, to take advantage of those resources.
Okay. So, this is for Mr. Poe or possibly Mr. Camp or Jody. You're actually on the line with us. If you get a presser written, or there's we have that little sample one. If you can run it by to get an okay to push that out, you can send it to me before it goes out. And I can give you on behalf of the commission, can give you a thumbs up to get that presser out, but it should be pretty easy, kind of fill in our information. If you could follow that. We just want to make it just help with our recruitment, and we want to use those resources that we have.
Got it.
So that was it. And it sounds like the other commissioners are on the same page with that. Any discussion from the other commissioners?
Not for me. I think it's great opportunity to recruit more poll workers.
Mhm. The other thing for that, this election, as every election, is important. And I would like to formally request election monitors from the state board. We have had, and that's to ensure that our process is being followed, ensure confidence in the voters. I would like our commission and the commissioners to vote on this, to formally request election monitors during the absentee canvassing and balloting processing, during all and anything that can monitor. We have a huge amount of absentee ballots that are coming in. We have vote centers for the first time this election. And so I'd like to request election monitors for this election, for the November election, general election. Any commissioners?
Do you need a motion or do you need a
Yes.
second?
Well, first, any
What do you
discussion
need?
before, I'd entertain a motion if you just want to straight up do a motion, but any discussion?
If I may,
I'm asking the commissioners, let me ask commissioners first, Mr. Poe, and then we'll ask you. Commissioners, do you have any?
I
Any
absolutely,
discussion?
absolutely agree.
The audio cut out. You absolutely what?
Agree.
Okay. Commissioner Price,
Yeah,
do you have any
I
discussion?
think transparency is definitely important, and transparency and oversight. But Brian, did you have something to add?
Go ahead, Mr. Bryant, Mr. Poe. I will, now that the commissioners are done giving their input. If there's something that you would like to add, Mr. Poe, go ahead.
Actually, I don't really have anything to say at this point.
Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion from the commissioners.
I'm not sure how to word the motion, but I make a motion that a request be made to the State Board of Election Commissioners to request a monitor or monitors for the entire process from absentee through early voting through
Election day.
from the state board for election monitors to ensure transparency and that processes are followed for Pulaski County.
Second.
All those in favor?
You want any second?
Aye.
I think we
Commissioner
need a
Price.
second.
Commissioner Price seconded.
Yeah, I said second.
So I think the audio's cutting out. It's a sign that I think we're at the end of the meeting. Okay, let's try that again. After Commissioner Price seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. So Mr. Poe, if you could make that request to the state board, it would be much appreciated. Thank you. That is.
There was one more thing I wanted to add to the agenda, if I may. I wasn't able to get.
What is it?
It
that you
is-
wanted to add?
We received on Wednesday our budget worksheet,
Mhm.
and I was going to provide you with a preliminary budget that I worked up, and ask for your suggestions as to any ideas that you might have.
Okay. Is that what the attachment was in the?
That's the spreadsheet 109 electioncom.xlf.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. We will add that to our next meeting. We're not prepared to fully discuss that tonight, but thank you for emailing it to us. And now we can each go through and digest that. Commissioners, if you want to have a special meeting to discuss the agenda or the budget, or Mr. Poe, when's our next meet? We need a meeting coming up for.
Madam Chair,
Uh-huh.
I would like to have it for these budget item requests for 2021. If
Mhm.
there's anything that's changed, just a sentence or two of what the changes are, like what the requests are for, would be easier for the next meeting. So, like there's something that says salaries part-time, like what that's regarding, or these, if there's a change in these supplies or whatever it is, just a simple sentence of what that is, so we know what we're talking about in the meeting, would be helpful.
Yes, Mr. Poe, please do that.
Just a very simple just a one sentence is fine. Just, that way we know what we're talking about.
All right. Now, I know the budgeting process is going to come upon us pretty quick. When is our budget due, Mr. Poe?
It is to be submitted to the comptroller's office by September 9th.
Oh, right around the corner. Okay. Well, do we have any meetings that were before that September 9th date that for election related items that we have to meet before then? I didn't have anything on my calendar, but Mr. Poe, is there anything on our election calendar that would require us to meet before September 9th?
No. At some point, we'll have to do the polling locations and the notice of election. But I was going to ask you all to do that later in the month after we have everything nailed down.
Okay, that's cool. I'm open to that. Well, September 9th is the deadline. So commissioners, you tell me what's gonna work for you to get this, talk about the budget and get that hashed out. And September 9th is a Wednesday.
Brian, when do you think you can get us the one sentence for the major changes that Commissioner Starr requested?
I'm just gonna have to work it in somewhere. I honestly don't know. I've got quite a bit on my plate right now.
Okay. I was just wondering how much time you needed so we could have the meeting accordingly.
Well, I can tell you the first part of next week is going to be taken up, basically getting the ballots tested and ordering the absentee ballots and getting those presses running.
First part as in like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When do you anticipate that to be filled up?
I'm just going to try to get it out as quickly as I can. Since there have to be changes made to the ballot, that might take a little bit more time. So let's say that we'll have that done by Wednesday. However, there are quite a few other things that also need to be done. So, but I'll just say that I'll work it in and get it to you as quickly as I can.
Okay. So commissioners, if we have a meeting on Monday, the 7th, that's going to be.
That is Labor Day.
Labor Day.
That is Labor Day. Oh, it is. You're right. Well, Tuesday the 8th. So I'm looking at either the Thursday or Friday before Labor Day or the day after or Tuesday, the day after, first Tuesday after Labor Day.
Either of those work for me.
Is that enough time? Well, Friday obviously is the weekend Labor Day, and I don't plan on being here. But is a Tuesday after Labor Day enough time if it's due the very next day?
You want to do it the Thursday, the 3rd? Wednesday the 2nd?
Wednesday to me is preferable, but it seems like Brian said he can't have this done in time. But
Well, it's
I
good thing
can't
Brian is
really
not an hourly
approve
employee,
something.
so.
I can't really approve something without knowing what we're approving. And that was my issue last year is we don't even know what we're looking at. I don't know what some of these things like what's a small tool or, just blanket approvals and we have no idea what we're even looking at is my issue. So
Well, Wednesday the 2nd, and then if we need to have a follow-up meeting, I hate to waste our resources, but if we need to have a meaningful discussion, and honestly, the day before it's due, I don't know if it's going to give us enough time to really have a meaningful discussion if we need to make changes. And if there's any investigation or there's any questions we have to get feedback on that. Wednesday the 2nd would give the commissioners enough time, and Mr. Poe enough time to make any changes before that's due. And then give us, if we have to meet again, we'll have enough time to do that. So we're not rushed and being in a position of either approving or not approving something because we don't know what it is.
yeah, I'm not looking for a document or I'm not looking for anything formal. I'm literally looking for, I don't care if it's even a spreadsheet, just, something in the comment field saying, this is for X. Just something to refer to, some kind of reference to what it is.
Okay. Mr. Poe should be able to get that done. So our
And
next meeting
just so
will
you know-
be, go ahead, Mr. Poe.
if you like have your recommendations by the 8th, I can easily make those changes and submit the next day.
Thank you for that. Wednesday, the 2nd. Can be our next meeting.
I'm fine with the 8th, as long as we get the information.
Well, then, Mr. Poe, can you give us the information by Wednesday, the 2nd, that Commissioner Starr has requested?
I can do something if not. I can probably have Betty get you the line items fairly quickly, and then I will create some time to just kind of point out the more important ones.
I'm fine with meeting on the 8th, as long as I have something to look at over the Labor Day weekend.
Okay, let's do that.
That's what I'm saying.
So, Price, what about the 8th? Commissioner Price?
That works for me.
you? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're gonna need redistricting information as well. We need to get that also before Labor Day, so because we need to include that in our budget ask. And Mr. Poe, if you could also resend to the commissioners our equipment. Remember when we had this last go around, we were looking at buying equipment. We had a couple different vote center plans and how much it would cost, how much equipment we would need for voting machines. If you could also send that to the commissioners so we can have an informed option if we want to ask for money for additional equipment, so we can expand our vote center use for the people of Pulaski County to make it easier for them to vote. So while you're sending information, you don't have to, you could get new quotes if you would so desire, but at least send the previous quotes we had last year so we can get kind of a ballpark with if we wanted to include any request for voting equipment, we can kind of ballpark that enough for a budget request. So we have all of our options available for the commissioners. Just get that before Labor Day weekend, so all of us will have a chance to review. Okay. Commissioners, anything else?
Yeah, I have one quick thing, just as a follow-up to Commissioner Starr's earlier comment. I found the article in the Arkansas Times.
Yeah, I read it earlier, but not in the Times, of course, but in the actual Arkansas.
Sorry, it was in Arkansas, not Times. It was in the Democrat Gazette, yes, and I posted it in the chat.
I saw it.
Yeah, it was unanimously passed. There was another issue right beforehand where there was one.
That's why I'm confused, because it was in the same. Thank you, though.
You're welcome.
You're a rock star, Commissioner Price. Thank you. Okay, if there's nothing further, was there any public comment that was submitted?
I didn't receive anything. Did you, Brian?
Let's see. There was none that was submitted via PCEC.
Was there some submitted?
I'm looking at I'm looking at the YouTube feed, and there's just various comments and things throughout the meeting. Let's see. The last comment was that they noted that it was unanimous without discussion. The only thing someone voted against was the mask proposal.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, I realized that the article had two different votes in there, and I saw that. Thank you.
But mainly it just comments on various things that we're well past in the meeting. But that's it.
Okay.
Let's see. There's somebody saying that 12 is a font, it's not a font. It's the type size.
Okay.
Changing to a more readable and compact font often allows you to increase the type size in the same amount of space. Just a suggestion.
Okay.
I mean, there's only like 7 comments. Would you just like me to read them all?
Yes.
Let's see. One of them is while people are waiting, perhaps you should scroll through the spreadsheet so we can see it. And though not all 300 plus, perhaps just show us a few of the ballot styles. I thought only the governor, circuit clerk, and mayor had to be listed separately if unopposed due to the initiative and referendum requirements. And we went over that there was a change in the session. Let's see, election commissioners should be more concerned about voters having an opportunity to vote on ballot issues than potentially saving on printing costs. As a veteran, that's my number one concern. Then there was a thing about the font. Then there was a thing about the, Jane and PSD and East End had their school elections in the primaries, normally May, but March this year. LRSD, NLRSD, and PCSSD are in November. And then there was a unanimous comment, and the last one was easier to vote or harder? Question mark.
I'm
Easier to
sorry,
vote
could you
or harder?
repeat that?
So that's the extent of the YouTube comments.
What was the last one you read?
Easier to vote or harder?
I don't think I understand that.
Is there
I-
any context to that, or was that the entire comment?
That was the entire comment.
Easier to vote or harder? Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm not sure, I don't know how to address that, but okay. I think.
I'm
we've
not
gone-
understanding
gone
the
through
font
comments.
comments. Are they saying that we need to, are they wanting us to increase the font size? Are they saying that, are they just, are they agreeing that we need to increase the size of the type font? Are they saying something about the size, the printing area? I think you skipped over that a little bit. I didn't hear that all the way. Sorry.
Okay. 12 is not a font, it's it's the type size.
Okay, they were just correcting somebody. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're correcting somebody.
okay, I misunderstood.
Okay. Okay, if there's any other discussion?
I had something.
Yeah, carry on, you guys are fine, go ahead. No, it's fine, no, it's okay. We're almost done with the meeting, that's fine, I appreciate you. You guys have a good weekend. Okay,
Okay. I just wanted, I had something to, an alert to bring up.
go ahead.
My husband received some mail yesterday from a group that is claiming they're nonpartisan, but they actually are partisan. And it was very concerning because this group is spreading fear about going to the polls. And I'm a little bit concerned about that because it's kind of contradictory to our message that there are multiple ways to vote. I do know we have a commissioner as well as a county clerk that is planning on talking with this group, and they're representing this group in September. But if anyone gets a letter from this group, I do think that they need to kind of pay attention. But he received an absentee application in the mail, along with a letter, and along with a basically kind of like a flyer. It's two-sided. That has us from two individuals. One of them talking about COVID and how they felt safe wearing a mask, and then people died, and how basically it's not safe to be anywhere, and then talking about, you know, absentee voting. So there's also some bad information on here because it's talking about dates, and the dates are wrong. It says the 30th of October is the last day to transfer your voter registration from another address, and that's incorrect. October 30th would be the last day to transfer from county to county. And that is because 4 days prior, you must transfer your voter address. If you're from another county, you move to Pulaski County, for example. But that's not correct if you're transferring your address or moving your address from within Pulaski County, or if you're in another county going, you know. So that's incorrect, and that was sent out to over 3,000 people in Pulaski County. So that's concerning because that could confuse a lot of people. There's also a lot of information on the back. And again, it says this is a nonpartisan organization, but there's a lot of information on the back that's very, very partisan. Again, there's an absentee application on here, but my number one concern about this is that it has a fear factor about basically voting in person. I want us to, again, on our social media, on our communications, is how much effort we have put into and how much work the staff has done with making sure that people can vote safely in person. That not only that, but the number of voting centers that we're putting in place, and to vote early. You know, there's 2 weeks of early voting. It's a great way of doing it, to eliminate the lines on election day, because that's the goal. You know, we really have no idea what's going to happen on election day, but especially if there's a shortage of poll workers, it's a good thing to get out and vote early. But we've taken extensive measures to ensure that people can get out, and you know, we're protecting their health and making sure that they can vote safely and also vote early. We have styluses that they can use. They're single use. They have single use pens that they can keep. There's so much PPE available. Social distancing, there's marking with tape, 12 feet from the table where they're going to sign in versus the actual voting booths. Everything's being spaced. I just want to make sure that we're getting that message across that they can vote in person, and that those that should not vote in person, those that are high risk, those that are ill, they have options to absolute absentee, and that is the right. But there are multiple ways to vote. They can vote early, they can vote on election day, and they can vote absentee. And all of those are options available to them, and those are all good options. But I don't like this fear spreading. It's voter suppression, and it really concerns me that it scares people that they should not go vote in person. So I just want to make sure we're getting that message out there through social media, that when people are calling, that we have taken a lot of efforts to ensure that we're protecting their health when they're out. And our poll workers are absolutely required to wear masks. Staff is required to wear masks, and of course we are required to wear masks when we're in the building. So I just want to make sure that we're doing those things. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, if there's nothing further at this time, we'll be adjourned.
Madam Chair,
I'm sorry, who is this that's speaking?
Betty,
Miss
Oh, yeah,
Betty.
Betty. Hey,
you guys didn't put a time for that meeting.
that's
Yeah,
what I'm
we
getting
do
to
not.
right now. But you read my mind, Betty. That's where I'm getting to. Our next meeting is the 8th. And Betty took the words right out of my mouth. What time will be good for you, commissioners? You want that same, you want 5:30 again? Or is there a different time? that we- Okay. Betty, thank you for being on it. I appreciate you keeping us honest. Our next meeting will be the 8th
Thank you, Betty.
at 5:30. And if there's nothing further at this time, our meeting is adjourned.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Have a good night. Thank you.